You're watching Adorama TV.
Well, hey everybody, today in the studio we have a superstar. Yes, it's the Apple iPad. Now we all know about the iPad and how wonderful it is for doing things like surfing the web and checking email and playing video games and things like that. But what we want to talk about is how the iPad can help us as photographers to become better photographers, show our work to potential clients and things like that. So we're going to be showing every other week or so some of the best iPad applications for photographers. And it could be things like how to set up studio lighting stuff or capture ideas or display your portfolio, things like that. But we need your help. We need you to tell us about some of these great iPad applications, or you can even ask us to review some. So if you know of a great iPad application or you want one that we need to review, just send that suggestion or question to AskMark@Adorama.com. Now, one of the things that you can do with your iPad that we already know about is it can help you become a better photographer. So I'm going to show you an application today that will help you do that. And of course, it's got the iPad or the iPod built right in, so you can subscribe to podcasts. Now, I have mine already loaded up with some of my favorite podcasts like Light Source, which is a great source of studio lighting information. But we have all of the Adorama TV episodes right there in iTunes that you can subscribe to. So, of course, if you have an iPad or an iPod or any iTunes, please subscribe to our Adorama TV podcast. Okay, now we're going to talk about some of the questions that people have sent in about the iPad. One of those, it's a big hot topic on a lot of forums. It was on the Resolve blog for a few weeks actually, and it is, does the iPad and tablet computing like this, does it revolutionize publishing, specifically magazine publishing? And I think, I was very skeptical at first, but after seeing the iPad for a couple of weeks, I think it does. And so we're going to take a look really quickly at a couple applications that do that. One is from Popular Science. It's called Popular Science Plus. Now, this is one of the very early magazines that was built specifically for the iPad. It's very interactive. You can go non-linearly through the application and through the magazine and see different things. It's got all kinds of pop-ups. You can show and hide images, and you can really dig into the content. So Popular Science Plus is a great application if you're just starting out and you want to look at some of the publications made for the iPad. Now, specific to photography, Interview Magazine is one of the best. We want to take a really close, in-depth look at Interview Magazine. So once you're inside the magazine itself, it's pretty easy to navigate. You can just swipe your finger left and right to change pages. And the nice thing is if you double tap, you get a nice menu at the bottom, so you can click this to see all of the thumbnails, and so you can really quickly go to a picture in the article or go back to some of the text. It's really, really easy. Or you can go up here to the contents, and let's say we want to look at this article about Kesha, so we can look at that. And then again, we can flip through this and see some of the great images that are here. So the nice thing about these new magazines is not only do you have these amazing images that are really, really vibrant and text, but you have all this interactivity. So you can not only look at the thumbnails, but you can share this with your friends on Facebook or Twitter. You can rate an article and say how good or bad it is. You can look at the captions to see who shot this, where it was shot. There's all kinds of different images or information that shows up there. And on some articles, you even get video. So for example, this video, we can actually see how this photo shoot was done. So it's a pretty dynamic application. So you get text, photos, videos, and social media all in one thing. Now, in this episode, we really want to talk about some of the existing iPad applications that will help us as photographers. So to begin with, I'd like to talk about a couple of applications that will help you to store ideas. I know that sounds pretty crazy, but we all have ideas, and we need to have a pad to jot those down with. So we're going to start by looking at Adobe Ideas. Now, this application is created where you can basically store any kind of sketch or idea. So let's say, for example, I'm working with a new makeup artist and I have a very specific idea of what I want to do. I can open a photo layer here, go to my photo album, bring in an image, let's say this one of Dawn that I created. Go here, I can resize this. So now we have this image of a nice makeup artist. And I can then go in here and go to my draw layer, and I can draw some stuff on here. I can say, you know what, let's make sure that we have blush that looks like this, and lips that are nice and pouty. and I can go ahead and make some notations. Obviously, a makeup artist would laugh at these, but I can do some notations. And then if I wanted to say, well, this is the lighting setup that was used, right below that, what I can do is I can move this up, maybe zoom in here a little bit, and I can say, well, this was done with a softbox over here. Here's my subject. This was at +1. We had another softbox over here. This one was the key light, and so it was at 0. We had a separation light coming in here. And I can start making notations and stuff at how this image was made. And then I have a total idea saved in my idea pad. Then I can go back here to organize, and I've got different ideas organized. And I have a whole notebook of photo shoot ideas. It's really a nice application. There's another application that many of you are familiar with. It came out originally for the iPhone. It's called Camera Bag. And now there's a version for the iPad. Let's take a look at that. The Camera Bag application was originally released for the iPhone. And if you're familiar with the interface, it's very, very similar. So we'll go in here and we'll look at an image that I shot of this guy in downtown Chandler, Arizona. And when you bring it in, it's the original photo itself. And then at the bottom, we have borders, cropping, and filters. Now, right now, if you choose the filter, the borders and the cropping will come along with it. So I like to put this into a black and white image, which I really like. And the border is automatically a thin white border, and the cropping is by the original. But I can change that. Let's say we want to have an instant camera, a Polaroid look for this. We can do that. But I really don't like the crop because Polaroids didn't look like that. So I'll make this a square. And so now we have an image that looks just like a Polaroid would. Let's say I don't like the way that this is. I can scroll side by side to get to different effects. I can push the effect and you have a pop-up thing here, so I can go back to maybe a 1974 kind of a look. I don't really like that. Let's go back to the mono. And so we have this nice black and white thing. So if this image, let's say I wanted to share that, well, I can either save it to my iPad to export to a computer or something, or I can just click this little email icon here, this envelope, and it'll process the image, and then I can send that to somebody through email, which is pretty cool. The Guardian Eyewitness application is a phenomenal application that's free. It's made by Canon, and it allows you to see the best of photojournalism day by day. And so we have all these images that you can sort of look through to see what's going on in the world of photojournalism. Then there's a caption down here that describes what the image is about. This is what you read in a newspaper, but it also has a pro tip. So you can look at this, and it has a tip from a pro photographer that says exactly how this image was captured, or maybe some tips about how to capture the images. And so that is on each of these images, and it's a phenomenal application. You can go in here, you can mark your favorites, you can look at these by date. You can share these with friends on Twitter or Facebook or through email, and you can play a slideshow. So it's an application that really encourages you not only to look at the images, but to explore them, see what makes them great, learn from professional photographers, and then share those images with friends and colleagues. Well, the Guardian is a phenomenal application that gives us constant inspiration. But there's another application that I really like, and it's for ambient light shooters. It's called LightTrac, and it can tell you where the sun is going to be in the sky at any time during the day, any day during the year, any location on Earth. So let's take a closer look. LightTrac is an application that is phenomenal if you are a shooter that shoots with ambient light. So what it does is it will tell you when sunrise is, when sunset is, when the twilight is, twilight, dusk, and dawn specifically. And then what it'll show you is there's this green line that shows you where the sun is going to be at sunset on a map. The red is where the sun is going to be right now, and yellow is where the sun is going to be at sunrise. And so you can progress through the day on this little slider and say, where is the sun going to be at any time of the day? And there's also an elevation idea, so you can see what the elevation of the sun is going to be. Well, that about wraps it up for this episode, but remember, we need your help. If you've seen an iPad application that you're interested in or you would like us to review, or if you're working on one, you're actually writing something, please let us know so that we can talk about it and take a look at it here at Adorama TV. Send your suggestions or questions to AskMark@Adorama.com. Thanks for joining us, and I'll see you next time.
This episode is brought to you by Adorama TV. Visit the Adorama Learning Center, where you'll find photography tips and techniques, links to the gear used in this episode, and related videos. For all the latest photography, video, and computer gear, visit Adorama.com. And the next time you're in New York City, visit our store located on 18th Street between 5th and 6th Avenue.